Welcome to Beyond the Break, a podcast where we dive deep into the stories behind today's entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers, and we uncover what it takes to build something that lasts. Let's get started. Beyond the Break.
Ready for this?
Ready.
All right. Well, Amy Pattison, welcome to Beyond the Break. I can't wait for today's episode because I think you've got a unique story that a lot of people need to hear, and it's so inspiring and so wonderful, and just welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for having me. I'm excited to share.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, tell us what you do, because it's fascinating, and the way you got to this path is what I want to dig into.
Okay, it's a big story. You want me to start at the beginning?
Well, let's hear what you do first.
So currently I am a fat loss and fitness coach, online fat loss and fitness coach. So my main client is between the ages of 40 and 60. And I really am there to help them learn that they can turn their life around. So a lot of middle-aged women are stuck in that weight gain, yo-yo diet mentality.
Sure.
And so I have cracked the code and found a way out of it. And
you really have.
And I have I'm a living example of it.
Yeah.
So I'm such a believer in women being able to find themselves again, especially the second half of our life.
Sure.
So that's what I do.
That's great. Well, so you're online, so you have
Yes.
clients around the country?
I have clients all around the country.
Okay.
I've had some out of the country, some in Canada, Saudi Arabia even. So
wow.
it's Instagram is where my platform is. And so, as you know, it's all over the world.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, right now you're obviously very fit. For those who can't see her, believe me, she's very fit. She has biceps and shoulders that are in great condition. But have you always been a fit person and this is a passion?
You know, I haven't always been a fit person.
Okay.
I grew up kind of a heavy kid, came from a heavy set family, but we were very Southern eaters, if you will. You know, food was everything. And then once in a while, I managed to lose some weight and feel good and, feel better about myself. But it was always going for thin and skinny. It was always going for just smaller sizes. And I think that was really just society, pressure to look a certain way. And so, but I was I was committed to the gym, but I was going to the gym more so because that's what I thought you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
not as doing like classes too, high intensity stuff.
I used to do, I used to try to run and be a runner. I would do some weights, but then I started doing just classes and those served their purpose. But I thought, we're supposed to exercise,
Yeah.
So I managed to do pretty well keeping weight off of me until, I was in the strides of being a mom. So when my kids were, somewhere around 6 and 4, my oldest daughter started playing travel softball. Started playing softball. And so we got really into the sports. And so once you do that, you're not only momming at home, but now you've got, the sports and you've got that on the weekends. And so, and they're taking off and they're in school.
Less time to focus on you.
Less time. Yeah. And I don't regret that at all, because I think as moms, we're supposed to get lost in our kids, and I certainly did. So as they're growing up and they're being more successful, I'm volunteering for everything they're in, I also ran a business. I ran a Gymboree business. So I did that so that I could be with them.
Oh, wow. So you had your own Gymboree business.
I did.
You got the kids on the run.
Yep. I always loved working. Like I think that was just I had a passion for, I don't know, just contributing. Right. So, but then when I had my first daughter and they put her in my arms, I was like, I hate that I have to go back to work.
It's hard.
I didn't plan for it. And so by the time my second daughter came, we had planned for me to stay home, but I was home for like a year. And then I was like, okay, I don't know how much longer we can just stare at each other, me and the baby. So I ended up buying a business, Gymboree, playing music, so that I really could have the best of both worlds.
Okay.
So it was a kid's business, and then my kids would go to part-time school, and then I'd be done at 2:00 in the afternoon, pick them up, and so that was really great. But anyway, the whole time I'm getting like lost in my kids in the best way possible. I'm just their mom, and I'm so proud to be their mom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it was great. But as I'm going, there's stresses in life. Then your parents are aging, and just everything's happening, and I don't know, Chris. It was just like one day I was like, looked in the mirror and I'm like, who are you?
Oh, wow.
And it was like a steady 15 years in there of just like 2 to 5 pounds a year, 2 to 5 pounds a year. And I was like around 48 and I'm 54 now, but I was around 48 and I was sitting on my couch and I was just like, I was like 200 pounds.
Oh, okay.
200 pounds. And I was sitting on my couch and my kids were, launching and doing their thing and college and everything. So I was home alone a lot. My husband worked a lot. And I was like, there's got to be more to life than this, than just.
And how were you feeling?
Yeah. And then that's the other thing, like hip pain, plantar fasciitis, just inflamed beyond belief. But I didn't really realize that was what it was.
Sure.
And I really didn't realize it was the food overeating that was causing it. I'm thinking it's aging. But I said, there's got to be more to life than this.
Because that's what a lot of people think is like, oh, at this age, it's just hard to lose weight.
Yes.
It's hard to keep up. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
And you've illustrated that's not true. You can break that.
Right.
And we're starting to see more awareness of that, I think, just across the world. Right?
Yeah. It's very easy for us, especially women, to blame it on our age or our hormones because that's all changing. But we're being told that that's what's happening.
Sure.
As opposed to kind of thinking for yourself, like, is this really true? And really the weight gain comes because we decide we're getting older, so we need to sit more. We need to not go as hard.
Yes.
It's more of a mentality. And so I reached a breaking point at I was 51 at the time. And I reached a breaking point where I just was like, I think I had to try something on. And my closet was just a nightmare because it was like a gamut of sizes and nothing fit, nothing was comfortable. And I just happened to be scrolling. I cried. I threw myself on my bed. I was like, I'm just so sick of feeling bad. And honestly, it came down to I could not stand a picture of myself anymore.
Oh,
and all my kids are doing all their things. And so you have to take these pictures. And I'm looking and I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
Trying to stand in the back.
Stand in the back and turn to the side. And I had a beautiful life, but I didn't like myself. And I didn't like how I was everything I said I wouldn't be.
Yeah. Did you have any health issues besides, the aches and the pains were building?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, but I was very close
cardiac?
to type 2 diabetic.
Oh, okay.
I was very close. Like my A1C was really high.
All right,
so
your
and I
blood
knew
work
that was where
bad.
I was headed.
Okay.
Yeah. Metabolic disease for sure was setting in.
Sure.
Yeah. And
that's not natural.
No.
It's because of what you're eating and not doing.
Exactly.
Inactivity, right? Because I think overall, if you stop moving, your body just won't want to move and won't give you the muscle and won't give you the strength.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're telling your body we're shutting it down.
Yes, exactly. But the cool thing is I was able to turn it all around. Yeah. And when I say I took a leap of faith, I hired a fat loss coach, which is what I am now. But I didn't even know online coaching was a thing.
Yeah.
But I was scrolling on Instagram and I found, I just happened to come across someone that said they, could help me lose fat. And I had answered all these. I had done every diet and I had lost weight, but you lose 20, 30 pounds. But now I have a 70-pound problem. It's like enormous. So I reached out. I didn't think it was going to work, but I just took a leap of faith. And he presented his program to me and I was like, I got nothing else to lose at this point. And I honestly had never invested in myself either. That was a key to it. I had spent plenty of money on coaches for my kids, private coaches, whatever, travel softball, all the things. But I'd never hired anyone for myself for personal, just to,
that's an amazing thought.
Yeah.
Just because I work in a lot of the lacrosse world and people pay $3,000 for a season.
Yes.
And hundreds or thousands of dollars for coaching for their kid to throw and catch and run, but
and
not on themselves.
And they don't think twice about it.
Yeah.
You don't.
And here you are talking about your health, your longevity.
Yes. And I'm thinking, and I do it, but I feel bad. I feel guilty about it. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should do this.
No.
But I did it. And I really think God led me. God is really in my story, led me to this particular program and this particular coach because it just worked.
Yeah.
And I went all in and I didn't overthink it. And the best thing that my coach asked me to do was forget everything I knew about dieting.
Okay.
Just forget it all, and let's just start with a clean slate, like you don't know anything. And I was like, I am happy to do that
Okay.
because we as women also are inundated, and I'm not that I'm not speaking for men, but
Yeah.
we're inundated with, protein goals. You got to do keto. You got to do this. You got to do cardio. You got to run. You got to all the things. And you get to the point where you don't know what to do. You're just kind of frozen. So I was happy to just be like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I just executed.
And, it's a good point you made. It's not just for your clientele are women because I believe you're targeting an audience that feels comfortable with you, and that makes perfect sense. But everything you prescribe and advise on applies to men identically, right? There's nothing that varies because of that. It's just, I think, the comfort zone that you built.
Yes, 100%. And I do have two male clients, by the way, and they're awesome and they're doing great.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. But yes, I just have a relatability to women because they've seen my before pictures at 51 and now to see me at 54. But I lost 70 pounds in 1 year.
Okay.
And and it was just from digging in and doing the work.
Is it diet only?
No, it's it was fasting.
Okay.
So fasting, I built a fasting lifestyle, and I was terrified to fast because I was like, I'm addicted to food. How am I going to fast?
Yes, yeah, no.
But the first 15-hour fast I did, I was mind blown. I was like
15 hours.
Yeah,
Think of that.
I did 15 hours.
That's just missing a meal.
Yeah, exactly. But when you're a fat person, that's like you're convinced that I was so deeply convinced that the hole was too big that I had dug.
Yeah.
In that even if I did a diet or change a lifestyle, I might lose 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just nothing about my body that I liked anymore.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that it could happen. But
so is it intermittent fasting or is it also some longer periods?
Yes.
That's part of it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit
we
about
started
that.
off with intermittent fasting, but quickly, once I discovered I could fast and I could miss some meals, I got very excited about it.
So what's an intermittent fast?
So intermittent fast for
that.
me, intermittent fasting technically is, you have a period where you don't eat and then a window where you do eat.
Okay.
And so that's typically what we prescribe for when we're starting off. But 15 to 18 hours is really kind of a minimum. So 12 hours isn't really fasting because when the last time you eat, it takes 8 to 12 hours for that food to digest completely.
Okay.
So if you don't ever get past 12, you're really not ever getting past sugar burning or glucose burning into fat burning.
Okay.
So I like to go 15 to 18, but then you go 20 and then you go 24. And
would you recommend that? Baby steps into it.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. I've had clients that are nervous about it because they've heard all the things about how bad fasting is,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've been intermittent fasting for the last year.
Yeah.
And now I try and do it 5 out of 7 days a week because I don't want my body always to get the same pattern going. And I used to be a person where my breakfast orders were massive. And if I didn't have breakfast, I was starving by 10 a.m. And now everything's changed.
Yeah.
And now I'm fine until lunch.
Yeah.
And then I've even gone to the next step. If I skip lunch, now I'm in a 24-hour fast.
Yes.
And it took some time. Mm-hmm. And to your point earlier, when I first gave up breads and all, I was like almost fainted at the golf course one day.
Yeah.
But now it's the opposite. If I eat breads or carbs, I feel it in my blood in my head.
Yeah.
I get a headache.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it really works and helps you feel better as well. So and can you build muscle while fasting?
Yeah, you definitely can. Because also if you go somewhere between the 15, 17-hour mark, you release growth hormone, which is going to help preserve your muscle, help build your muscle and things like that. The thing about fasting is, and the reason that I know God led me this way is because this is how we were designed to live. Mm-hmm. Our bodies were designed to fast and feast and just like hunters and gatherers, right?
Because we didn't wake up and have a kitchen
Correct.
With eggs ready to
Correct.
go. Right?
And literally, you can get food within 30 seconds, no matter where you are. You know,
Sure.
and it's just the abundance of food, and we're just over consuming.
Yeah.
So fasting is great for your body. It's very healing. It helps you burn fat, but it also can teach you to stop overeating.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and really your body's way more capable of sustaining you than we've been led to believe.
And I think one of the things I've heard you talk about, which I think is the ultimate cheat code, is snacking.
Yes.
So talk about snacking.
Yes. So even when I have someone that doesn't want to intermittent fast, my first thing is, well, let's cut out snacks.
Yeah.
So
Completely.
Completely. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks in between creates insulin risen in your body all day long. So, and insulin's a hormone, and we tend to think of when hormones are out of whack, we always think of the sex hormones, but insulin is one of the biggest hormones in our body. And so if you can get that under control, a lot of your other hormones can just really fall into place.
Yeah.
But when you eat all day, your insulin is high all day, and insulin is a fat storing hormone. So you
Okay.
cannot burn any fat when insulin's high. So even if you're eating tiny diet meals, but it's all day long,
Yeah.
you're taking in very little calories, but you aren't ever getting into fat burning because your insulin is high.
So a lot of people think they're healthy. They're like, oh, I'll just have a scoop of nuts before I go out.
Yes.
Some cashews quick. And it seems innocent, right?
Yeah.
Because that seems like a healthy food.
Correct.
It's not a donut.
Right.
It's not pizza, but it's doing the same thing.
Yes,
Right?
it's spiking your blood sugar. Then insulin has to be released to put it in the cells. And if your cells are full and you're insulin resistant, which is a big thing, then it has to store it as fat because
Yeah.
there's nowhere to go with it. But if you eliminate snacking, at least in between your meals, you can start bringing this insulin down.
Okay.
So that's the goal of this not snack. And I'm not against snack foods, just put it with your meal.
Yeah.
Like don't have these in between. And I really love to teach people, let's start listening to our body. Because if you eat breakfast, are you really hungry 2 hours later that you need a snack?
Yeah. No.
That's more of a habit.
No.
That's more of a I need, it could be a craving because your body and your brain knows, okay, I usually have a snack right now.
Yeah.
But if you're not hungry, your body will tell you what it needs if you start listening to it.
And I think one of the problems is the typical breakfast was cereal,
Yep.
bagel, banana,
Mm-hmm.
that realm.
Yes. Yeah.
And what happens when you start that way versus just eggs and an avocado?
Yeah.
You know?
Eggs and avocado, you're speaking to my
Yes.
heart. Yeah. But so the carbs just naturally just shoot your glucose up. So you have a high glucose rise, and then a lot of insulin has to be released. So when the insulin's up, it takes time for it to come back down. So that, and you can apply that to the day, but if you do that, if you're eating that way over months and years,
Yeah.
this insulin is never coming down. And that's why you're insulin resistant, because it's just staying perpetually high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people feel like they get full, but they're really just now bloated.
Yes.
And then the irony is you're hungry sooner.
Yeah,
Now
because
you're hungry at 10 in the
yeah,
morning.
because then you get the crash from the blood sugar coming down, and then you think you're hungry, but it's really not a hunger. It's just the crash.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's usually typically even Fat Amy, my old person, that's when I would grab the Diet Coke and the M&Ms, and I'd be like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm having my crash right now. Well, I didn't think of it as a crash. I just thought I was exhausted, But really, that's what it was. But those things just make it worse because now we have you get a little bit of an energy boost from it, but you're going to get another crash.
Sure. So if you start with just eggs and avocado,
Yep.
for example, what someone's experience can be through that day?
Well, fats and proteins don't spike your insulin. They do spike your insulin, but not nearly as much.
Sure.
So you're looking at carbs up here, protein about here, and fats is going to be really moderate,
Okay.
or really low. So when you start your day that way, first of all, protein makes you feel satiated, makes you feel full.
Yep.
And fats do as well. And then it's going to it's helping you keep your blood sugar steady. And that should be the goal. Not really low, so that you don't want to be in constant fat burning, but the goal is to get a steady,
Okay. And does that help with inflammation and aches and pains
Yes.
as well?
Well, when you start burning fat, you can reduce your inflammation. So
okay.
for me, the protein and the fats all comes down to burning fat.
Yeah.
So we want to get into fat burning, and we have to do that by keeping insulin low.
Yeah, it's so powerful because when I do have those breakfasts, I'm not even hungry by lunch then.
Yeah.
Because to your point, if you're satiated, your body's saying, I've got enough protein, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about.
Right.
And if you don't have the protein, you ate the bagels and all, then your body's like, we still need something.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And the other thing about that is when you're actually hungry, because especially dealing with my clients, we have sugar cravings because we have kind of an addiction to sugar
Sure.
and carbs. And so when we were trying to break that, the difference between if you're truly hungry, you will crave protein. If you are craving a cookie, that's a craving.
Okay.
That's not hunger. But that's something you have to work through with your mindset. Yeah.
And do people evolve where because I've heard you've had calls where, people talk, what did you do today? Did anybody slip? And I did have a cookie.
Yeah.
So how bad is that? Because you're trying to get them on track.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, well, for me, I was addicted to sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the downfall of me. That was why I was fat, was because ice cream, cookies, I was all very sweets. I was not a potato, pasta, bread person,
Okay.
but I loved the sugar. So when I started this, for me, I knew I had to cold turkey it because I couldn't eat one cookie.
Okay. Yes.
No,
I agree.
So the goal ultimately is to I want people to dive in and we don't like it to be restrictive because we want it to be sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Yes.
don't ever see yourself never eating cookies, then we don't want to put you on a program where you don't have cookies.
Yep.
But if you know you can't control eating cookies, then we need to take a look at that. And maybe we do need to take a break until once I started finding my results and I understood what sugar was doing to my body, the education made it so much easier to push forward.
Oh, yeah.
And those cookies they're not tempting anymore because I have built the strongest, healthiest body I didn't even know I could have.
Yeah. For sure.
So the benefits of that outweigh anything I could possibly eat. And I do view food now as fuel as opposed to entertainment.
That's key. I think that helps the whole mindset.
Yeah.
Does the program sell any supplements or shakes, or you're purely advising on diet?
Yeah, we are. I teach you how to build a fasting lifestyle. So that's no food.
Okay.
And a lot of money savings.
Yes. So you're not selling products.
No. Mm-mm.
That's unique.
Yes.
And
What
I
we're
think more
selling.
trustworthy.
Yeah. I think. What I'm selling is I'm coaching you through the exact same program that I lost 70 pounds on, and also built a body I didn't even know I could have.
Yep.
That's been the biggest shocker. Was I loved losing the 70 pounds and I just thought I was going to be thin. I didn't know I was going to be strong.
So talk about that.
Yeah.
So now we've talked, we're generalizing quick about the fasting. So it's really stuff you can do at home
Yes.
with affordable ingredients
Yeah.
that you have.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, eliminating a lot
Yes.
of the stuff.
Eliminating a lot of stuff. We do focus on whole foods and upgrading your ingredients.
Yep.
So we're big on getting rid of the seed oils and all the artificial stuff
Yes.
and the processed food stuff.
Yes.
That made a huge difference for me too. So
Yeah.
once I started reading labels, because all those man-made chemicals that are in the processed food, think about it. If you go back to the way God designed us, your body has no idea what to do with those.
No.
Your body knows how to process fats, proteins, and carbs
Yep.
from nature, not from a bag or a box with a barcode on it.
No, I think it's funny when people talk about ingredients. I've heard and lived by now. It's eat things with one ingredient:
Yes.
chicken,
Yes.
meat, egg. Like that's it, right?
Yeah.
I can pronounce those.
Yes,
It's,
exactly.
it's
Or
not a
even if
chemical.
because I'm a big faster, I turned from really a more fresh produce to frozen because you don't eat that often.
Mm-hmm.
But even the frozen stuff, if you turn it over, if it's broccoli, it should say just broccoli.
Yes. Yes.
It shouldn't say all these other things in there. And
Oh, no.
and it's out there. So single ingredients is awesome. And so we are big on upgrading our ingredients. So fasting, and then you have to pair it with nutrition. If you want to lose fat, those two things are going to be 80% of it.
Yeah.
But I did start walking every day,
Okay.
and walking is great for fat loss. So intense cardio tends to burn muscle more than fat.
That's a surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually, just trying to figure it all out, I just thought I was only ever going to be thin if I was a runner.
Mm-hmm.
And I just only thought fit people were runners,
Yeah.
or runners were, all the fit people were runners. And I didn't really enjoy running.
Mm-hmm.
So when I learned in this program that I could just walk, it was like, okay, I can do that.
And what is a walk? What's a walk for
I started off for like 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
So I'm more of a 10K, 15K a day now, kind of steps a day. But when I started off and I was heavy, it was just 30 minutes a day. And that could have been 10 minutes 3 times a day or 15 minutes, whatever I needed to just make it happen.
Sure.
But the goal was to commit to it and do 30 minutes a day.
So now we're walking, we're burning calories because you're not spiking your heart rate too high.
You're not
right?
getting your heart rate too high, and fat burning is slow.
Mm-hmm.
But walking is that perfect, 15 mile per hour pace or something like that is the perfect, your body has time to go burn fat to get you, to have energy. Plus, walking doesn't make you hungry. It's not this big hunger drain, so that, if you go for a run for a while, you come home, you're hungry.
Yep.
So you want to eat. So, and then walking is also very accessible. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anytime. You can do it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you've got a program with no products being sold.
Correct.
The advice is to walk for free.
Yeah.
And then the last part I'm thinking is on the weightlifting,
Yes.
right? It's weightlifting versus classes, right?
Yes, it is
Okay.
weightlifting. So we're very focused on strength training.
Okay.
And especially as we're aging. So past the age of 40, you're losing 1 to 3% of your muscle a year. It's called sarcopenia. But if you work against that and you combat that, then you won't lose your muscle.
Yeah.
And you can actually build muscle. Strength training is awesome. So we do design that. So part of our program is with the coaching as well is I'm designing custom workouts.
Okay.
So you get them through an app. And so strength training is a big part of it. And we are intense. We like to lift weights. It's very traditional.
Sure.
It's not HIIT classes. It's not, box jumping and things like that. It's bench press.
Traditional
It's
weightlifting.
bicep curls, it's squats and things like that. But we put it together on an app, and then I'm really coaching my ladies out there to lift heavy. You're so much stronger than you think you are.
No, I think that's such an eye-opening statement,
Yeah.
because people think they're afraid they'll get too big.
Yes.
I mean, what are the chances
Right.
that someone's like, oh my biceps are way too big?
Right.
What are the chances
Yeah.
of that?
And it's so funny, but that's the fitness industry, and a lot of women think they're going to get bulky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have consistently lifted weights for 3 years, and I just feel like it's perfect,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
But building muscle, people that build muscle do it every day for years that are really huge and bulky. And we want you to do it 3-4 times a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
But do it with purpose. And that goes back to the original comment when I was Fat Amy. I was going to the gym, but I was just checking the box.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I went to the gym and I'm still not losing weight.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, but I wasn't focused. And to me, if you're going to go to the gym and spend the time there, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, make it purposeful. Like really, let us coach you on what the right way to do it is, so that 45 minutes is so productive.
You're working to max till failure
Yeah.
on some of your squats or
Yep.
some of your bench press as well. So, and everything, is it dumbbells, kettlebells?
Yeah, we're mostly dumbbells because half my clients work out at home, so they'll
Okay.
just have a set of dumbbells at home. But if they have the gym, we'll do some barbell, but it's mostly dumbbells, some machines, but
Yeah.
but foundationally, a lot of dumbbell work. Yeah. Yeah.
It is great. What you're prescribing, I'm starting to see more of. I'm starting to see more women who used to be, let's say, at the YMCA in those classes,
Yes.
never out on the floor,
Right.
where the free weights are. I'm starting to see more of that. I'm starting to see elderly do that too,
Yeah,
because
good.
they're realizing the risk of falling. If you have
Yes.
strong legs, we all tend to do upper body first, but ironically, your
Yep.
legs are probably your most important.
Right.
You know?
And as you get older, like just getting out of this chair, if you can squat, you can get out of this chair.
Yeah.
But if you can't, that gets harder and harder.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I mean, the results you're talking about, I've seen the before and afters of not just you, but your clients, and it is spectacular.
Oh, thank you.
And it's sustainable, though.
It is sustainable.
That's what is most important.
Yes,
you know?
agreed. And so it took me a year to lose 70 pounds, but I'm 2 years from that year.
Yep.
And I just keep living this lifestyle. For me, it's not a diet. It is a lifestyle change.
It has to be, yeah.
It has to be. And the big thing that I do in my coaching is educate you on why. And when you understand the why behind things, it's much easier. When you understand why you're insulin resistant, it's easier to reverse.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
or if you understand what's the difference between a craving and actual hunger and listening to your body, it's much easier to follow.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's
Yeah.
anything along the lines of sauna or cold plunge or any of those other activities?
Those are great. I love a sauna,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually have a cold plunge, which I don't love.
Yeah.
But I think sauna's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a relaxer. You know, I think cold plunge is great mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it has all these physical benefits that people say it has,
Yeah.
but it is good for mental toughness. And I begrudge getting in it every night, but I still do it. I actually get out of the sauna and then I look at the cold plunge and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Do it. Do it. And then I end up in it because you have to do tough things in life.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going to be, you know, strength train, weights are heavy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but you can find a joy in doing uncomfortable things.
Yes.
And that's the biggest problem we have is we just want comfort.
Mm-hmm.
We want to sit on the couch. We want to watch our TV. You know, we want to take the easy way out. We want to just eat what's easy and convenient. And that's leading us to a society of overweight, obese, and metabolically unhealthy people.
Yes.
But as far as sauna and cold plunge, so I think all of those are fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're healthier than a lot of other things. But I am big on you got to do the basics. The hacks are not going to get you there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, it's easier, more comfortable to buy a supplement or think a sauna is going to do the trick or whatever the latest thing is, a weighted vest.
Yeah.
Like, no, just go walk. You
Just
know?
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I try to, another part of my coaching, a big thing I like to keep at forefront with my clients is just keep it simple. Once you start overcomplicating it, you don't need recipes that have 15 ingredients.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you just need a protein and some veggies, and you know we can round it out with a healthy carb if we need to. But keep it simple.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can master those, then you can layer on something else that maybe is exciting. But yeah, I think ultimately a lot of those things are just hacks.
Yeah. But to your point, it challenges you. You're doing something hard.
Yeah.
Cold plunge wakes you up.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
It does.
You know that.
Yeah.
So.
You know, in a cold plunge, I will say for a cold plunge, I do sleep better when I have a cold plunge.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I sauna at night, and it helps me after a sauna,
Yeah.
shower, go to bed. I sleep like a rock.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Sauna just feels good.
Yes.
But
yeah.
I don't know in the fat loss space, like there's like all this white fat, brown fat, and
Yes,
going between
yeah.
the two can change all that. I don't know that I buy all that.
Yeah.
I think you just got to do the basics.
No, like you said, you're walking, you're
Yep.
weightlifting, and you're eating basic foods.
Yeah.
And the other thing we didn't really talk about is liquids. You know, a lot of people consume calories through
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah. I just think
And
that's not a good idea.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any good for you drink
Yeah.
besides water.
Yeah.
right?
Coffee has its positives.
Yep.
But that's black coffee.
Black coffee,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I clients of mine love their coffee creamer. And
Oh.
when it's funny
Creamer, like the
coffee creamer.
No.
Yeah, that's a big thing when they want to sign up with me and then I'm talking them through fasting. They're like, well, can I still have my coffee? And I'm like, you can have your coffee, but not your coffee creamer.
Yes.
And they're like, I can't live without my coffee creamer. And I'm like, okay. But I've heard that probably 100 times.
Yes.
And they all manage to live without their coffee creamer. But it's a struggle because they love it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's my other thing is I'm very passionate about, like, do we really need to love coffee creamer?
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
like, let's really get in tune through this process and this transformation with our feelings too. Like, we tend to say, people say they're starving.
Yeah.
Okay, let's think that. Are we starving? Like, starving is a big word.
Sure.
You know? And someone told me the other day that they were just so, like, now I can't think of the word, but they were exhausted beyond anything. Oh, they were brutally exhausted.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
that sounds like
brutally exhausted. So I think a lot of times I'm coaching too, like, let's not tell ourselves we're starving.
Yes.
Because if you tell yourself you're starving, you're going straight to the pantry and you're knocking it out.
Yep.
But starving really is the lack of food. That means there's nothing for you to eat. None of us are ever starving.
No.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're always 30 seconds away from
Correct.
something.
Right. But when it does come to drinks, so I'm a big, of course, water, unsweet tea, and black coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we prescribe on our program. But the sugary stuff, for me, because I fast so much, if I'm taking in calories, I'm eating a meal.
Yes.
I'm not
it
drinking
better
a
mean
protein
something.
shake.
It's fuel.
Yeah,
fuel.
exactly. But even protein shakes they're overhyped in my opinion too.
Yeah, because there's a lot of chemicals and a lot
Yeah,
of
and people
unknown
think
in it.
they put their kale and their berries in there and that it's great. But once you blend it, you've like destroyed all the fiber.
Yes.
And so then
Yes.
it's really just a sugar bomb.
Yeah, you're right, because
Mm-hmm.
the fiber blend of a blueberry or a banana is what is needed
Yeah.
to stop the spike.
Right,
So-
exactly. But it's like a not that I'm a scientist in any ways, but fiber is like if you think about it like under a microscope, it's like a net,
Mm-hmm.
netted. So once you blend it, you're just crushing all of that.
So you're losing even
Yeah.
the good part of a blueberry.
Yeah,
Is now just a sugary.
exactly.
item.
Yeah, you're much better off not blending that stuff.
Should I even ask about alcohol?
Alcohol is a big no for me,
Yes.
but I've kind of always been that way. I did a small stint of wine drinking with my girls as they got older, but then when I did this, alcohol shuts down all fat burning. So if your goal is to burn fat, you don't want to consume alcohol.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to, the big thing is you have to own that. So I have clients that still like to have their glass of wine on the weekend, which is fine. But then you can't get on the scale and do your check-in
Sure.
and then be upset that because a glass of wine, your liver is going to immediately, alcohol is viewed as a toxin in your body, or not viewed, it is taken
is.
as a toxin. So it's a poison, it's a toxin. So your body's amazing. It's immediately going to start trying to filter out the toxin and save you.
That's
so,
where it's spending its energy.
yeah.
right?
So all the liver is doing is metabolizing the alcohol. So it can't burn fat at that time.
Wow.
So yeah. So for me to really that's how I lost 70 pounds was I believed in the program and I dialed into it and I just followed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I got all the results I got along the way just made me believe in it more and more. And so that's why it's sustainable, because I have the proof.
And that's the key. I think, I love your story, and you've built something sustainable for yourself, for your clients. You're doing wonderful work, and the results are amazing. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I was going to say keep up the good work, but you've created a program that's not work. It's just living a clean life, right? And
Yeah.
simple.
It's simple. It's more of breaking the bad habits or the unhealthy habits and creating the new ones.
Yes.
And really opening your mind up to understanding that you can. Some people will call me and they'll see me on Instagram and they'll be like, I want your results. Well, you have to understand, I didn't get these results in 12 weeks.
Yep.
I stayed in it. And so I can get you going and I can stay with you as long as you want to stay, but I'm still doing it 3 years later. And I will never stop doing it because, to your point earlier about how I feel, at 48 to 51, I felt like this is terrible to grow old. Like,
Yes.
who wants this? This is miserable. And now I'm 54. I couldn't even care that I'm 54.
Yeah.
It feels so unreal. I almost don't even believe it
That's great.
because I feel so much better than I did for those few years that I was overweight and just metabolically unhealthy.
Yes.
You know?
Well, good. Well, congratulations.
Thank
and thanks
you.
for coming on Beyond the Break,
Thank
Amy.
you so much for having me.
All right. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Beyond the Break. If this conversation brought you value, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. We've got more real stories, sharp insights, and powerful turning points coming your way. See you next time.